This is the Sixth Man Show, an Orlando Magic podcast, with your hosts Luke Sylvia and Jonathan Osborne, covering all things Magic basketball. By fans, for fans. Go Magic. What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? You guys are back with the Sixth Man Show. It is June 7th, 2021. It is the long boy summer. As everybody is listening to this, we're actually recording this Memorial Day. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Luke Sylvia. Luke, what up?
What it do, baby?
And this is like a special round table episode, so we have a couple of very special guests with us. Best friend Drew, friend of the podcast, Drew Gooden.
Best friend.
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be back.
Also, yes, the third time on the show, you are officially, like, I think we can say, I mean, we always say best friend Drew, like that's just mine and Luke's thing, but friend of the podcast, Drew Gooden.
Best friend of the podcast. The next step is family member of the podcast.
Yes.
That's what I'm going for. I'm going for that.
Well on our way.
And then you got the guy with 2 appearances over here who's
There
not
he is.
part of that best friend family, but
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oscar Creed of the Magic Report. He's feeling a little neglected, a little jealous.
Coming in
What's
hot.
up, Oscar? What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm just teasing you boys. It's good to be here.
How's everybody's Memorial Day? Do you guys celebrate Memorial Day in Canada? Not really. Probably not. I don't know.
We it's on a different day, and it's not really as celebrated up here just because of all the wars we didn't fight in. So there you go.
Too bad you missed out.
It seems like a lot we missed out on.
Yeah.
We're clinging on to 1812 for dear life over here.
It is a really like strange thing. Like, obviously, we're very appreciative of everyone that served in this country and, given the ultimate sacrifice, but it's weird that it's like kind of like celebrated, like everybody grills out and, you're wearing your red, white, and blue, like it's the 4th of July. Like it's a sad day, but like, it's like a very like prideful American holiday, but not to lessen that at all. Again, we do appreciate everyone's sacrifice, whether you're currently serving or have served in the past or, lost a loved one, in the active service. We really, really appreciate that. But apart from that, how was everyone's day? What'd you guys do today?
Good. I went to Home Depot.
Nice.
I love Home Depot.
I love it too. I've grown into a love for Home Depot. I used to not have as a kid, but now it's like, sure, we'll look at some ceiling fans and
some cedar wood.
Yeah.
Is that were you doing projects in the Gooden household today? Are you putting ceiling fans up or what?
We did buy a new fan, yes.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time. I mean, love the smell of the wood.
It's good. That's really good. Oscar, do they have Home Depot in Canada, Oscar?
Oh, we're not like some wasteland frozen igloo paradise over here.
You guys have wood up there, right? Like nails. You have tools.
Before the beavers get to it, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
it's
Just
a
a lot
fight
of
up
maple
here
syrup and, Canadian bacon up there. Right?
Poutine. You can't forget poutine.
You
Poutine.
forget about
You
Canadian stereotypes until you talk to some Americans.
Sorry about that. Anyways, guys, we're actually going to talk about the Magic, believe it or not, on this podcast. So like we talked about at the beginning, it's been, quite a while since we had you both on the podcast. Probably, I would think closer to the beginning of last season. So before everything basically fell apart, obviously the biggest part of that being the trades from March 25th. So Oscar, just wanted to start with you. We haven't talked to you, but what were your reaction to the trades? How did you feel in the moment, and how do you feel today?
It's so bittersweet, and I think every Magic fan shares a similar reaction. I woke up to the Nikola Vucevic trade. I'd spent the night staying up late, and I woke up at noon to Vucevic is in a Bulls jersey, and by far the worst way to wake up in my existence ever. And then it was followed by, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Fournier trade and then the Gordon trade was last, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So it was a pretty terrible way to wake up, but seeing Fournier make his departure for 2 second-round picks, that was kind of what made me upset the most. Everything else I could stomach. I was happy with the Wendell Carter trade. He's really showing some upside, but I still think we could have gotten a little bit more than 2 second-round picks for Evan.
I
Hey,
think
don't you forget Jeff Teague, all right?
the
Magic
and
legend.
the traded player exception. That's we
true.
don't know what's going to end up happening with that, but I think that was really like the thing that they were looking for in that deal. But Drew, what about you? I mean, you, me, Luke, we were kind of in like our little group chat that day, and we were just like, what is happening? Like, we definitely weren't expecting that, but
what was crazy was the Vooch bomb came first. We were so, I mean, the writing was on the wall with Aaron and Evan. And I mean, Evan being an expiring contract and someone we probably weren't bringing back, it was like, well, we'll get something for him. When the Vooch trade happened, I think like a lot of people, my gut reaction was like, oh no, like it felt like he was such a core member of the team that we had all grown to love. I mean, especially this year, he was the only one who was even remotely a professional basketball player on the court most nights. And it was a shock, but that was one that as time has gone on, it's like, I really think that was a really great move for this team. And, you know, had we only traded Aaron and Evan, but held on to Vooch, I just don't know if, I think you have to either go all in on the rebuild or not at all. And we had already tried not at all and just trying to, you know, run it back every year with the same thing. And I like the moves ultimately, but in the moment, it was definitely a little sad because none of us saw that coming.
Well, and what I'll say, I want to kind of take the listeners back to the day that this happened, right? I'm actually looking at the group chat of the initial reactions to the trade. Drew put a shocked, sad face emoji is the best way to describe it. Jonathan said, "I'm done." Drew said, "I'm devastated." I just said, "Bro." Jonathan said he's done with today already. And then, you know, that kind of does, like, that was the initial shock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the biggest blow that Magic fans could take. And then, you know, we you know, Drew sent a screenshot of, you know, them grading the Vooch trade, in which they gave an A-. And Drew said, "I'm surprised they gave this such a good grade." Drew, looking back at that, because at the moment I think every Magic fan would definitely sentiment with like what you said there. Like, I'm surprised they gave this an A- trade. Do you?
Yeah.
Where are you now?
Well, I mean, I think you guys have talked about this since, but as fans, we're always going to value our players more than anyone else. And we were thinking like, we're going to get, I don't know what exactly, because we didn't really, I mean, for me, I didn't even ponder the possibilities because he seemed like such a valuable guy. But I mean, he was playing at an all-star level. So really thought like 3 first-round picks minimum. And I didn't know anything about Wendell Carter. I mean, other than just the bare minimum, but I didn't expect him to look as good as he did while playing for us. So it really seemed like we got fleeced, and it seemed like we could have got something better, but I think it played out pretty much perfectly. And really the last piece of the puzzle is how the lottery is going to shake out. Because if we lose that pick, you know, obviously we're going to be having different conversations. But as far as the rebuild goes, I think that was a really good first move to set us up.
Yeah.
And Oscar, how do you feel about the trades now, you know, basically 2 months removed?
I think it's set us up for a lot of conversations to have when the time comes. And when I mean that, I mean when we have say for example, best case scenario happens and we get the first pick, and I think we can only get the 8th pick with Chicago is the highest, right?
Yeah.
So we get the first pick and 8th pick. And then we have this absolutely loaded core of young guys who have all shown us they have, for the most part, star potential on this team. And I just think I'm really excited for the time when we have all these assets and we can probably make a trade for a superstar level player, because we're going to have an abundance of backcourt players between Cole and Hampton, and what happens to Fultz when he comes back, right? Like, how are we going to implement? It's going to be a race. It's going to be a challenge between all of them. And to be honest, I'm happy we are where we are. And I think, you know, the Vooch trade hurt. It still hurts today. But seeing Chicago, you know, not do well this year just made it all that better.
how are we all feeling about the trades now? Like, for instance, like the Denver trade. In the moment, I was good with it. I was like, okay, we got a pick. We got a young guy. We got Gary Harris. And now it looks like we just destroyed that trade. Like RJ Hampton has looked incredible. So Oscar, you first. Like how impressed by RJ Hampton have you been? And do you feel like we won the Denver trade?
Oh, by far. Oh, by far. I mean, I didn't expect him to win Eastern Rookie of the Month for April or for May to finish off the season. And you saw him slowly get more confident in every possession he had since the trade. I had originally thought that Denver, like deep down, I thought Denver won the trade. I don't know. I thought Aaron Gordon, all these repressed years of me hoping he'd be a star, came back and we're like, all right, now he's got MVP caliber player to play with. And now he's catching passes from said MVP caliber player. Like it only makes sense. And then I remember the contract, and then I remember, well, he's at his peak now, if anything. I'm so happy with the way that trade went. I was, Gary Harris, his contract will be gone after this year, I think, or next year, next season. There you go. Does he have a player option or a team option or?
Not sure about the option.
No?
I can pull that up and take a look at his option or not. But yeah, at least one more year.
Yeah. And he was decent in his tenure with the team this year. I'm looking forward to see his role next year. Like I wonder if it's going to be a Terrence Ross-esque role if he steps it up, or is he going to collect dust on the bench? And with all due respect to Gary, I mean he's a great player, but I just don't see a fit for him on this team next year. I don't.
So Gary is fully guaranteed. There's no option. He'll be unrestricted next after the following year. So going into the 2022-2023 season, he'll be unrestricted. So, but Drew, so what about you? You can talk about the Denver trades and looking back, maybe even on the Vooch trade. What do you think how the Magic turned out?
Right. Yeah. No, I think with Harris's contract the way it is, I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded this offseason again, because I don't know if he has a long-term place on this team. But I liked what I saw from him at times here. But knowing what we know now, even if the Aaron Gordon trade was just Aaron for RJ straight up, I would still feel like we won the trade. And the fact that we also got a first-round pick that could be pretty good if Denver, kind of goes in the tank a couple of years from now. And Gary, who's a tradable player at the very least, like I think that was a home run trade. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, this was a rough season. Obviously, it wasn't what we expected. The last time I was on was I think middle of preseason, and we were just optimism was through the roof, and we were dead on for a week and a half, and then it just all went down. But I feel very optimistic about the future of this team. I think in a weird way, the Markelle injury might be the best thing that happened, because it put us in a chance to really be honest about where we are as a team and what our ceiling is, and put ourselves in a better position moving forward with Markelle and J.I. coming back at the same time with hopefully top 1 pick this year, if not at least, top 3 or 4, and a superstar player potentially. So, I mean, I feel really good about that. And I was going to say something else and I forgot, but yeah, I feel good.
Luke, how are we feeling 2 months out?
Feel great about it. I mean, the Vooch thing sucked just for what it was and what we've already talked about. But I mean, you look at what we got. You got Wendell Carter, who could be a decent player. I've talked to you countless times about him already, Jonathan, but the basis of where I'm at with him is I don't think he's ever going to be a star. I don't ever think he's going to be a dud. I think that he's going to be a guy that you just insert into the center position and know he's not going to make any big mistakes for your team. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because of every other trade made it better, especially the Denver trade, right? Like the Denver trade where we weren't sure what was going to be the best return in that trade. But I think now we know, now that we're more familiar with the contract setup and seeing the guys play, RJ Hampton's the diamond in the rough there. RJ Hampton wasn't playing in Denver. He was playing 9 minutes a game. So for him to step in and then win Rookie of the Month, the last month of the season,
it was really
a lot for
don't mean to cut you off, but it was like rookie of the last 2 weeks. Like it's just
at some point, RJ Hampton got recognized for his outstanding play, Jonathan.
Very true.
So that's where I'm at. I love RJ Hampton. I was on the Orlando Magic team shop seeing, hey, do they have any RJ Hampton jerseys? I don't know. I got my birthday coming up in a couple months, and I might have to do that and maybe do a custom RJ Hampton, just because I do feel like I if I'm gonna get a jersey, I want a jersey not everybody has or wants. And I think RJ Hampton's a fun guy to have his jersey, regardless of kind of what happens. I hope he stays on the Magic for a long time. And if he develops and turns into a stud, I'm going to be like, I'm one of the first people that probably got an RJ Hampton jersey.
Luke, I'm sorry to interrupt, guys, but if you were to pick between any three of the young kind of star or young potential filled star guards that we have on our team now, between Hampton, Cole, and Fultz, like who do you think is going to have the longest tenure on that team? I think it's probably going to be Hampton now that we talked about it. But
the longest tenured, I think people would say Markelle solely because, cornerstone, like what the Magic got for him and what he's turned into and all those things. I think you could definitely argue Markelle. So for me, that's a really tough question, I guess, because I really don't know. But RJ is kind of set up to go long term, just because he's not getting paid that much and all that. So yeah, I think RJ is a safe bet, I hope. But then your risky run is like, does he turn out to not be that great and he gets traded in the next couple of years, right? Or he gets let go, he doesn't get re-signed. So I would say Markelle would be the longest tenured. But Cole would be a great pick too. I really don't know. And Jonathan and I've talked about it so much that there's really no there's no bad bet on that. And it's incredible that we get to have the conversation about which young guy is going to be the best and which one the Magic are going to value the most. I think it's a great conversation that we're able to have.
It's a better conversation than which one of our old guys are we going to trade first? It's like, now we can just, the sky is the limit. It's optimism season. I love it. Yeah. What I like the most about the trades is when you look at all of them from a big picture, like it all makes sense. I think for so long, Evan, we just kind of got what we could get. But the other two, like when you think about the players we got in return, it's guys that can fit long-term on this team. And we didn't just take whatever we could get. You look back on some of the Aaron Gordon trades that were thought up over the years. I remember Aaron Gordon plus someone else or something else for like DeMar DeRozan. Like, had we made that trade 2 years ago, like who knows where, like that wouldn't have made us any better long-term. I just think, the front office got a lot of flack from people for, it seemed like they were just sitting on their hands over and over again. Last year's trade deadline, this offseason, like make a move. But I think they waited until the perfect time to trade these guys when their values were at their highest. And I think, they should get a lot of credit for that, because they could have easily taken way less a while ago. Also, the fact that they re-signed Vooch. I mean, I remember when people were like, $100 million, this is, we got Mo Bamba. Like, what are we doing? But it's the way the NBA works, especially for small market teams. You can't let these guys go for nothing. You got to re-sign him. And he became a huge tradable asset. If we had just lost him to free agency, we would be in a complete abyss right now. So really good forward thinking, I think, from the front office the past couple of years. Now it's going to come down to draft picks and development, but I like where we're at.
And to carry off Drew, we had the classic case of putting players in positions like leading scorer or our star player. Like Evan Fournier was like our go-to clutch shooting guy. I mean, all due respect to Fournier, but he's not.
Oscar's dropping mics.
You're supposed to drop the mic at the end of the sentence.
I'm a little nervous. So we gave star positions to guys like Fournier when not to say they didn't deserve it, but it was like they weren't the right guy for that role. Vooch was for our situation, I guess, the closest thing to the 100% go-to guy, right? Like he really started to fill in that role at the end of last season and to start this season. And I just think now with the clean slate that Drew had mentioned, and we have the sky as a limit, it's I don't know, it's so much room for possibility.
Last thing that I wanted to say about the trades is, like, even looking back on the Chicago trade, I think it's hard to say like we emphatically won that, obviously, because so much is yet to be decided with the draft picks. But anytime you give up the best player in a trade, like, you feel like you're losing. Anytime you give up an all-star, if you're not getting another all-star back, you just feel like you lost out. And that was my whole thing. Like, it initially felt like we got fleeced. Win or lose that trade, I still think it was the right decision at the time because, like you said, Drew, it forced the franchise to be like, okay, this is the direction that we're going. There's no more of this. Are we making the playoffs? Are we trying to be competitive? Are we going younger? They're just like, no, this is the way that we're going. We're definitely going to be bad for a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, but now we all understand the vision. With Evan, I think the moment that you moved Vooch, teams realized that we were just selling and Fournier was going to be gone at the end of the year, so you have zero leverage. So you just took what you thought might be the best deal, send him to a good situation as well. And then with Aaron, I'm right there with you guys. I think we won that trade for sure. I don't know that I agree that there's not a role, for Gary Harris next year, just because like his defensive ability, Clifford will find a role for him. We've seen that time and time again with other guys. But I'm definitely excited about that, and I do think 2 months out, it's safe to say that we've won these trades. But let's turn our attention to the draft lottery, which is, we're like, what, 22 days away from that? Like, 3 weeks and a couple of days. We're
so
we're
nervous.
Really I'm so nervous. How do you guys feel right now? Just for some context, we're sitting in the third spot. If the order goes the way that it should, we'd be picking third, but we have a 52.1% chance of ending up with a top 4 pick, and we have a 14% chance of ending up with the number 1 pick overall. So listeners know how Luke and I feel about the odds. But Drew, how do you feel about the odds? Are you optimistic or are you scared?
I feel good about the odds just because we are in the top 3. We did everything we needed to do. We won the exact number of games we needed to, and not a single game more, because if we had, it would be a different position. But so I feel good about that. And the rest is like, it's a coin flip. That's what it is. It either goes your way or it doesn't. So, it can be frustrating if it doesn't go our way. We'll see, but that's just how it is. At least we put ourselves in the right position. If we do end up with like the 7th pick, I'll be pretty mad though. So, I'll probably be less about, then I'll be like, we got screwed. It's rigged. It's rigged. How did the Pelicans get the first pick again? That's that's when I'll get pretty upset, but we'll just have to see.
How many times have you guys had that scenario where you run Tankathon and a team, like Sacramento or, who have screwed up picks time and time again, or like the Pelicans get a number 1 overall pick, like again? That happens to me probably at least once a day out of the 5 times that I run the Tankathon.
Or even when the Bulls get like the number 1 pick, and it's like, come on, you don't get Vooch and the number 1 pick. Right. It does feel like if there is justice in this world, we deserve this we deserve it more than Oklahoma City. Houston kind of deserves it too. I don't know, although they kind of screwed up the Harden trade. So I don't know. I feel like as a homer, for sure, we deserve some good luck here, and I hope that we get it.
Oscar, what about you? How are you feeling about the odds?
I gotta agree with Drew because we did everything we could. Like, everything fell into place this season to set us up for this, and like he said, we won the right amount of games to get the right placement. And if things don't go our way, can we be mad? Like, I don't even feel like I could be mad. I'm like, we sucked so much this year that like I've wasted all my emotional energy on the beginning half of the season, and it's just, I don't know. I'm happy we're gonna get a fresh start. This is like supposed to be the best draft class in ages, and it's just loaded with potential. That being said, I think it's gonna be like just a mess come draft day. I feel like the Magic and draft day never really go well together. Whether it be a bad trade, whether it be a pick that somehow turns out better for another team down the road, we just tend to have bad luck. So you know what? This is going to be the year that things turn around for us. I think it's in due time. We are we're not even a laughing stock of the NBA. We're so like the team has become so forgotten that people don't even make fun of us. They go and make fun of the Pistons, and they're the new laughing stock. Like I get hurt when people don't make fun of our franchise, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I thought there was like an inspirational speech coming. Like that's how I felt, and then it just
it's
went
just
all
not.
bad.
All
Oh,
my
no.
inspiration was left in the 2018 playoffs, man. Like it's all gone. It's
No,
in
but
Toronto.
I'll probably I tend to disagree that the Magic have bad luck. You go back to the 90s, the Magic have very good luck. Now, what the Magic need here is that luck on lottery night so that they can't mess it up on draft night.
Yeah, no, you're right.
If you get lottery luck of the 90s Magic on draft night, on lottery night, draft night, if you give me a top 3 pick, I'm cool because the draft is so stacked in the top 5-6 guys. I'm cool with whatever the Magic get in the top 3.
Yeah.
I don't think we can go wrong in the top 3. I think
agree.
the 3 options. I don't know who you would say the consensus top 3. It's like it's Green, Mobley, and
Cade.
what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's Cade, Mobley, and Green. I would be happy with any of those 3. I think last time we talked, maybe that wasn't on the podcast, but I was more on Green than Mobley. But any one of those 3 guys can be a franchise-changing player. I wouldn't be mad. The only reason that I want Green so much more than Evan Mobley is because we invested so much in the center position already. It feels like we're admitting that Bamba was a failure, but it's probably better to admit the failure and take the guy who has tremendous, incredible upside.
Yeah.
And just kind of, sorry, Mo, you haven't shown enough in 3 years. We're going to roll with Mobley and with Wendell. But if that happens, that's great. As long as we're not picking 5 or 6 and we're just outside of those star players, I'm happy.
Yep.
Back to the point on luck, I always say if it wasn't for bad luck, there would be no luck at all. And the Magic had bad luck in, like the early 2010s, in regards to the draft lottery. We had
Daniel Horton.
Yes. Oh my goodness. We had Jake Fisher, who works for Bleacher Report and wrote a great book on tanking, the league's tanking era. And, he talked about, and specifically the Magic 2014 basically promised Kristaps Porzingis that if you're there at our pick, we're going to draft you. And he decides he wants to stay, basically out of the draft, play another year of professional basketball in Europe, raise his draft stock, and then come over. So 2014, you miss Embiid by 1 pick. You end up with Aaron Gordon. The next season, you miss Porzingis by 1 pick again. You end up with Mario Hezonja, when you could have drafted, like, let's say Devin Booker or somebody like that. So I'm right there.
He wanted to be here too. Booker wanted to be here too.
He did. He really did. That hurts. That's always going to hurt for sure. But yeah, so something that Luke and I do each week, guys, we're going to run the draft lottery simulator all together here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So listeners at home, I apologize. I know that you're not able to see this, but we will update you and let you know what's going on here. So everybody just let me know. Can you see the screen here?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. So everyone at home knows the rules. We're going to run the Tankathon lottery once. You share your results. If you run it the second time, you cannot share your results. Those are just the rules.
Doesn't count. Second one does not count. You are cheating.
I've already ran like 5 before this, so this one technically doesn't count.
Okay.
For the podcast,
You got witnesses this time,
counts.
man.
Here we go. We're gonna sim the lottery, and okay,
3.
The Magic end up 3rd. I can live with that, and then we do end up with the 8th pick.
I can't live with Toronto having the 2nd pick though. That doesn't sit well.
Yeah,
with
that
me.
sucks. That sucks.
Because Mobley and Toronto would be like the perfect pairing of all time. Like they would be
with Siakam.
Yeah, they'd be set. And I don't want to admit that, but
Yeah, because then we would just look at that and think what could have been if it was Mobley and Isaac down here. Yeah.
The more we talk about it, the more I warm up to that idea of Mobley in a Magic jersey.
Or you get Jalen at 3. He's the second coming of T-Mac. We win 15 championships consecutively, and we're like, all right.
I like that more. That sounds better.
Only 15?
I mean, not 15, not 16, not 17.
Dude, if we got, if you get the 3 pick and the 8th pick, basically you stand pat to where you were like going to be, but not really, that's great. That's great. That is one of the like safest but best simulations that
I'm not
we've
mad about
had.
that at all.
No.
So would you guys rather say, for example, we score the first pick and the Bulls fall into the top 4 and we somehow keep the first pick? Would you rather have that situation where we lose the second lottery pick and keep ours if it's the first, or if we both say if the Magic get the 4th pick and the Bulls get they land pick 11 for us, would you try and trade both those picks to move up in the draft, or would you stay put
I
at, I guess, the worst outcomes of both
I think
situations?
I think that the problem with having the 4th and 11th would be everybody knows everybody knows that top 3 is elite.
Yeah.
I just don't know if 4th and 11th and even a player does it if a team is so set on no, we want Green, we want Mobley, we want Cade, like this is bigger than those trades or than that trade. So I would think that you wouldn't even be able to do that. I just don't see a world where anybody in the top 3 is like, yeah, we'll take 4th and hope you don't choose our guy and take 11th and a player. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's just kind of how I feel right now. I'm not sure. So yeah, honestly, I don't really know.
You definitely make the call. Like if it ends up Minnesota, like you call Minnesota and be like, hey, this is what we're thinking. And then they laugh in your face and they hang up on you. That's probably like what I'm thinking. But you definitely, I think if there's a guy that you really like, you have your heart set on, like obviously if it's number 1, it's Cade, or like you're one spot away from missing out on, Evan Mobley or Jalen Green, like then you're going to, explore every avenue. Like you're going to call 1, 2, and 3 and see what it takes to get up and get your guy. But, everyone's been talking for months and months about how this is like a 5-player draft.
Yeah.
But I think as we're starting to get closer, like, we've been beating on this drum for months and months and months, and people are starting to hear that, Jalen Green is, might end up being, the best or second best guy in this draft. It seems like he's starting to kind of inch up draft boards a little bit. It seems like people are coming down a little bit off of the Jalen Suggs game winner that he had in March Madness and are realizing that, Evan Mobley and Jalen Green are probably better prospects. So like where I was, a few months ago, I'm like, we got to end up in the top 4. Now I'm like, give me 1, 2, or 3, or I'm going to be very, very nervous come draft night. So Drew, what about you? Is there a guy, have you, looked into it enough to know like this is the guy that you really, really want on draft night?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, really any of those top 3 guys, I'm more than happy with. For whatever reason, Jalen Green is the one that stands out as just, it seems like every decision, every roster move that we've made the past few years has led to this decision. And if he is what he can be, then he's the missing piece that can elevate the rest of the team. Whereas as good as Evan Mobley is, like, I don't know. I'm a fan. I want the shooting guard. I want the scorer. Like that's just I feel like we haven't had that in so long. We've been drafting. I love Chuma. I love Isaac, and like all these guys who are good defenders and will complement that like alpha scorer. And I just feel like Jalen Green has the potential to be that. But I also wouldn't be surprised if someone who goes 7th or whatever ends up being better than any of those top 3 guys. That's just how the draft is. So we get really excited and about these names and the potential of these players, but who knows? I don't know. I haven't done enough deep diving into it. I just, for some reason, Jalen Green is my guy.
Oscar?
I think most Magic fans would probably agree with Drew. I think even myself, we've lacked that sort of prototypical flashy, gets all the buckets, he's your go-to guy, face of your team for everything, right? Like it's kind of like what Brad Beal was to the Wizards when John Wall was hurt, or anything like that. Like we're missing our Michael Jordan in a way. But if I could pick any prospect without thinking of best fit or anything like that, I love Kuminga. I think he's raw. I think if you put him on the floor with Isaac in 5 years, nobody's scoring on them. You have Wendell in the back as well. No one's touching them. But obviously, he's not going to fit the team as is now. Neither is Jalen Suggs. I was so confused as to why everyone was so high on Jalen Suggs. I did a little pre roundtable research, and I looked on Fansided, and half of their columnists on Philip Rossman Reich's team, half want Green and half want Suggs. And there's just no, like, I don't see any path where selecting Suggs works for this team or benefits us or gets us more wins. It's only going to cause a logjam unless we make that trade with Gary Harris's contract in the summer for something that could bolster our all-around scoring. But as of right now, Jalen Green, I love. I think we need to fill a small forward spot. That's all. I don't think we have a true small forward. We've got John Isaac, who can play anything you tell him to play, and you've got Chuma, who's getting there, and you got a bunch of guys that are just multi-positional players, which is like just ideal for this team. Because if we do get Jalen Green, and Jalen Green turns out to be what Drew said he hopes he is, then like we have the best role players in the league supporting this guy, which will only make him look better. It's kind of like the Isaiah Thomas effect in Boston. But if you surround a guy from this draft with the potential of Jalen Green, with guys like Jonathan Isaac and Chuma Okeke with limitless defensive IQ and potential, I think we're just set up for success. I think, you can't go wrong, but you can go wrong by taking a point guard or in this draft. That's the only way.
Luke?
I mean, my guy's been, Jalen Green, just like yours, Jonathan. But then even more so, who I'm not as high on him as I am Jalen Green, but love Moses Moody. If the Magic can try to get him with that 8th pick, just a shooter, just someone that can come off screens, make his open threes. Like, that's all I want. If you're able to get that top 3 pick, then yeah, adding a shooter like Moody would be incredible. So I'm kind of moved off of the top 3. I Jalen Green, lock it in. Cade's great too, obviously. Like, Cade is like we talked about last week. Cade is head and shoulders above everybody else in my opinion. So yeah, I think Jalen Green would be just like the perfect fit guy. Cade would be the best available guy, and Moses Moody at the 8 pick. I mean, that's the perfect draft in my opinion. You get Cade or Jalen Green, and then you get Moses Moody at the 8, and that's the perfect draft. That's an A+ draft for the Magic.
So I'm seeing a pattern here, and I'm not only seeing it here in our roundtable discussion. I'm seeing it on social media, on our Twitter, on our Instagram, and everything like that. There are a hefty amount of Magic fans that are like, we need Cade, we need Cade, we need Cade. But I would say overwhelmingly so, and it's reflected here with us, is it's Jalen Green. Like, everybody wants Jalen Green. Are we just all really stupid? Like that's because nobody, you ask people and they don't say Cade Cunningham. This is the question. Is it because we think it's more likely we end up number 2 and number 3 versus number 1? Or is it we're just like, we just want Jalen Green more than anything?
For me, I think I kind of dismissed the idea of having the first pick for a while. So I was more like, Cade thought it seemed like a pipe dream. If we end up number 1, I think he's still the guy. I think I've just been kind of operating off the idea that we're going to get 2, 3, or 4. But if we get number 1, I still think Cade's the best guy, just from what I've seen. A casual fan.
Orlando fans are conditioned to prepare for the worst, I would say. Mm-hmm. And
don't I know it?
Yeah. So I think I don't think any Magic fans expecting the first pick.
No.
No. And that's the unfortunate part, because I mean, going back to what I said about bad luck in the draft, I thought about, I know what you mean. We've picked some great guys that just don't happen to benefit us in the way that we hope them to. You know what I mean? Or our team, they benefit other teams, or whatever that may be. But yeah, I don't know. I a lot of nights spent thinking about this draft. That's for sure.
So I just looked it up, and between the 2nd and 3rd pick combined, we have a 26.1% chance of ending up with either of those top picks, and we just have the 14% chance of ending up with the number 1 overall pick. So I think for me, it's mostly like, I don't expect us to end up with the number 1 pick overall, just because you have to be crazy lucky for that to happen. Like, top 3 still is going to be a stretch, just a 26% chance. But I think that's more of what it is with Jalen Green, that people don't really expect us to end up with a number 1 pick, because almost everyone you talk to is, if you end up with the number 1 pick, who are you taking? And everyone says Cade Cunningham. And I agree with Luke in the research that I've done the last couple of weeks. He's just the guy that he's got it all like ready to go. Like open the door and he comes in and he's, one of the best players on the team day one. But the other thing with Jalen, and that I just don't see out of, Jalen Suggs and anyone else that you want to try to compare to Jalen Green, is just the athleticism. Like people talk about the fact that, Jalen Suggs is athletic, but Jalen Green is like an Aaron Gordon level freak athlete, just jumps off the screen at you every single time that you watch him play. Funny thing that I'm noticing here on the lottery odds, and I just kind of want to get your guys' opinions. We can start with Luke. So the single pick that the Magic have the highest odds of ending up with are the 6th pick. 26% chance that we end up with the 6th pick, higher than any other pick by itself. Now, you have a 52% chance of ending up in the top 4, but the single pick with the highest odds is the 6th pick. Luke, how does that make you feel?
Can you look at Detroit's?
Detroit has a 27% chance of ending up with the 5th pick and a 20.1% chance of ending up with the 6th pick.
I don't know. I say fire whoever calculated those odds for pissing me off and telling me that the best odds that we have are the 6th pick. I'll throw up.
Let me frame it to you again. So we still have much better odds of ending up in the top
Correct.
4.
Right.
But the one pick that we have the highest odds of receiving is the 6th pick, and that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, no, I'd throw up if the Magic got the 6th pick. That would mean that 3 teams that weren't in the top 4 hopped into the top 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break this down in my head. I can't even why a 6th pick? What?
I don't.
I'll go ahead and share the screen again just so that you guys can get like a visual representation of what we're talking about. And I'm sorry for those of you at home. So the Tankathon basically breaks down everyone's odds and like what odds you have to receive what pick. So Orlando has a 26% chance of ending up with the 6th pick. But you still have higher odds of ending up 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It's just 6th is the single pick.
Combined, you have odds. That much.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just because nobody has the highest, like their highest percentage chance is going to be one of the top 3, just because it's going to be 14, 13, 12%.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, because Houston can't land out of the top 5 then, right? Like they're just physically
Correct.
unable to.
Yeah, they have a 47.9% chance. So obvious, I mean, the flip of the 52.1% chance to end up in the top 4. If they don't end up in the top 4, they have number 5. And I think in that scenario, don't they lose their pick?
What, in the top 5? Yeah, so they would convey to OKC, I believe.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine OKC ends up with like 2 top 5 picks?
Yeah.
After everything that they've done.
After what they pulled this year? I don't
If we end up
so.
with the number 1 pick, who is like crowdfunding the statue of Alexei Pokusevsky to put outside the MLS for taking down the Clippers in the last game of the season?
Yeah,
that was a great moment.
It will forever be like Orlando Magic folklore if we end up with the number 1 pick overall.
His outfit post game, you saw the interview in his outfit.
Got the drip. He's got the drip for sure.
There are 2 people in the NBA who look like they should not be NBA players just by looking at them. It is Poku and it is Jokic, and that's it. The list ends there.
I mean, Poku weighs 190 pounds and he's 7 feet tall. Take that in.
Yeah,
that would scare me. The bone density would definitely scare me on that. I've got to say. I hope he has a long, wonderful career.
Let's hope he drinks his calcium,
Yeah. Drink your milk, my friend. Drink your Ovaltine, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Enough about the Magic. Just want to throw a couple of, quick fun questions out there. Drew, as a lot of people know that you're a big Miami Dolphins fan. How did you feel about, the Dolphins draft, their offseason? How optimistic are you going into the next NFL season?
I am very optimistic. I feel really good about the 2 Jalens we drafted. Maybe that's why I like Jalen Green so much, because the Dolphins already have Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, and now Jalen Green for my other favorite team. I don't know. It just seems like fate to me. But no, I'm really excited. I still believe in Tua. I think it could be a really good year for us. I think our defense could be top 5. And it's another, next couple months for the 2 teams that I love are just all optimism. A lot of fans they watch the draft and they hate on every pick. And I just can't do it because like I've suffered through so many bad seasons. And this is the part of the year where I get to pretend that my team will be good. So no matter what, Dolphins are going to be great this year. And I will believe that until week 3 when they start proving otherwise. But I'm excited about the direction we're heading. I love Flores. There's a lot of young players I like. It's kind of similar to where the Magic are at, where it's young guys with a lot of potential. And if things go right, could be, a championship team in a couple of years. So,
hey, Drew, as a Giants fan, who's going to throw more touchdowns this year, Daniel Jones or Tua?
Probably Daniel Jones. I think the Giants have a pretty good defense though too, right? I mean, would you say, yeah, I don't know. I could see another year where Tua is sort of underwhelming statistically, but we're still winning games because we're turning the ball over on defense, and hopefully we have more of a running game this year. But
I love the culture you guys got. It's like, it's so what's it reminiscent of? What's that team? It's kind of like OKC. You have a leader, and then you kind of have what's it? Not all the weapons are exactly there, but you know how to use them, and then it all comes together.
Yeah.
Flores was a great hire, and he's absolutely turned that team around.
I love Flores. I mean, I think he's going to be if we do succeed, it's going to be all because of him. Going from Adam Gase to Brian Flores, like you can't there's never been a bigger upgrade.
Hey, Drew, when is the last time, because I'm looking at odds to win the Super Bowl, when's the last time the Dolphins were 14th best odds to win the Super Bowl? Does that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside that you guys are 14th? You guys are top half of the league?
Damn.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound that good, but it is probably our best odds since like going into 2006, we had just signed Dante Culpepper, and a lot, or maybe that was 05. And a lot of pundits were like, "Oh, Dolphins might be a Super Bowl this Super Bowl team this year," and we ended up going 6-10, I think. So hopefully history doesn't repeat itself there, but we'll see.
Where are the Giants on that list?
The Giants are 7th worst.
Who made this list?
Oscar, how are we feeling about the Giants, man? How are we feeling about the Giants?
I'm still living off 2011 right now. I have the high is continuing. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, I live in a house where my brother's a Jets fan and my dad's a Bills fan, so it's like the triad of New York just going at it, and I don't know. I want to have confidence in them, but I love Daniel Jones, but I don't know. There's something about that guy that just makes me kind of like lack a little bit of confidence, while the rest of me is like, wow, this is Eli Manning 2.0, just because he's a white dude with brunette hair and same height, kind of looks like him. But it's all right. I just want Saquon to come back healthy. I love him. He's my favorite player in the league by far, and I just want to see him come back and have a monstrous season.
I'm very optimistic about the Giants season. If Daniel Jones can get it together, like the Giants are going to be as good as Daniel Jones is. Like if he really puts it together,
he's bulking up, right? Saw a picture.
He's always bulking up, man.
Those forearms are nuts.
Is getting yoked. Absolutely. But no, everyone is in the same boat. Like Daniel Jones might be really good this year. He might not be that good. But the Giants, they've got everything else put together, I think. That's the last thing. Like that's the last question mark. If you figure that out, Giants are going to be good or they're going to be bad. And it's going to be because of number 8. So one last question that I wanted to ask you guys before we head out. So we talked at the beginning about today being Memorial Day and everybody grilling out and everything like that. You're at a cookout, like you're perfect. Like this is your once in a lifetime dream scenario for a cookout. What's the spread looking like? What are you going back to your seat with on the paper plate and the solo cup? Luke, start us off.
Oh man. I'm going back to my plate with a burger because you can't go wrong with those. But it's not just any burger, right? It's gonna be one of 2 burgers that are my favorite burgers.
I just want to stop you right now. If you say there's an egg on this,
I'm going to.
There's not. It is not possible. Nobody's frying you an egg at the cookout to put on your burger.
Fine.
I know you too well. I knew exactly where this was going.
There won't be an egg. All right. There'll be a grilled pineapple on my burger.
Oh. All
All
right,
right, this
that's
is your
enough.
dream scenario, so you can have whatever you want.
Let
I
me
just had
live
to
my
throw that out
fantasy.
there.
All right.
Okay, I'm
So-
sorry. You're right.
So yeah, so just so I don't put an egg on my burger, I'm gonna go grilled pineapple on my burger. Okay. And it's gonna be on a Hawaiian roll, like a sweet Hawaiian roll. Okay. Can you at least respect that?
Yes, I'll
Okay,
respect that.
great, thank you. And then I'm gonna do potato salad, and I don't know. I'm really, if you give me potato salad, I'm set. But maybe mac and cheese as well. And maybe like a some type of brat, like a sausage or a bratwurst, whatever. And then I think that's it. I think that's what it is.
Oscar.
John, I want to hear yours first.
All right. I'm going burger and I'm going hot dog just because you never know what you're going to get at a cookout. I'm not going to go fried egg, nothing crazy like that. My expectations are not that high. I'm a simple man. I'm just going
With normal eating habits, right?
normal
Yeah.
cheeseburger.
All right, guys.
Give me some cheese on there, some lettuce, tomato, a little bit of mayo, some ketchup on that. I'm going with the hot dog. Don't know about you guys. This might be a hot take. I like my hot dogs burnt, like super duper duper burnt, completely black. I don't know what it is about that, but I love the char
And
flavor.
you're dissing an egg on a burger?
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey,
your
sir,
food card's been revoked, man.
do you mind burning my hot dog? Or, hey, could you go inside, grab your carton of eggs, bring it out here, crack it on the pan, fry it over easy, and then put that on my burger? One of those two
Salivating.
requests.
I'm
one of those-
salivating.
I agree
Drew
with
looked
you.
disgusted at the sight of
It's
that.
delicious. It is delicious. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying one is what's more realistic than the other. That's all I'm going to say. I'm putting ketchup and mustard on that hot dog.
Okay.
Then I'm going inside. I'm grabbing the macaroni salad. I'm getting the pasta salad as well. And then I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. I never had it until I met my wife and her mother, my mother-in-law. She makes what's called cornbread casserole.
Oh,
Has anyone here ever had cornbread casserole?
I've heard of it.
I don't really
Yes.
know what goes into it other than like it's like cream of corn. I know
Cornbread.
there's like cornbread mix. I think sour cream. It just makes it like really, really moist. Slap that on the plate. Carbo load me up. I'm slamming that, grabbing a Miller Lite and passing out.
Yeah,
Rest of
Luke,
the
I don't
day.
know. I don't know how an egg got so much hate, bro. Never mind.
No. I love the egg. Don't get me wrong. All I was saying is I knew he was going to say that. But nobody's going to have that for you typically at a cookout.
He could bring his own egg from
Yeah.
home.
Oh, okay. So
Just
now
pull it out of
I'm
your
getting
pocket.
canceled over the egg here. Everybody's ganging up.
No,
on
I
me
agree
because-
that it sounds gross.
Okay,
No,
listen.
it's,
All right,
no, it's,
hold
just-
on.
it's not gross. It is not gross.
It's the logistics of it. I understand.
Listen,
Exactly, the
listen. Yes.
logistics.
So here's where what I'll say. I'll get off my soapbox about a freaking egg on a burger, but I'll end it with this about that. I put a poll on my Instagram. All right. First of all, it ruled in favor 66-34. So my wife just won't try it. She won't
It's
try it.
fire.
She won't try it. So I told her, I was like, did you see? The results are great. My Instagram followers, they're smart. 66-34. And she was like, yeah. And here's where the principle of this goes into. She said, yeah, I didn't vote on it. I was like, oh, why not? She goes, because I've never tried it. I was like, great. That is great logic. If you haven't tried it, don't say anything about my egg on my burger.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
That's what my
right?
mama used
No,
to
but
say.
seriously, I tried the egg on a burger for the first time in New York City. I'm in New York City, so I'm like, oh, I'm all fancy now. So I got the egg on the burger, and I don't even like like sunny side up eggs or anything like that.
You
But
loved
on the
it.
burger, it just takes it to another level. That and avocado on a burger. If you haven't had avocado on a burger, what are you doing?
Wait, so you were dissing Luke for the egg, but now you're saying you like it?
Oh, my issue
It
was
was
with
all
the
about the
logistics.
practicality of it. It
Oh,
was
It's
like
not
no
a
one's-
practical request at a family cookout, but
it's
it
not
is
like
delicious.
it's not like you can throw an egg onto the grill next to. It's just gonna slip right through the cracks.
Well, you can't say that till you try it, right? That's the logic where you.
That's very
you
true.
gotta try
Very
it.
true.
Yeah.
All right,
Uh,
Oscar, what are we eating at the cookout?
We eat big at my house, so
I'm here for it.
we do mama's ribs.
Ooh,
Mm.
now we're talking.
Yeah, stuffing.
Oh, stuffing.
that.
Not the
Stuffing
famous
at a
stuff.
cookout. Wow.
Stovetop.
That's
Okay,
fire.
still
I'm
good,
not
still
hating on
good.
stovetop.
There you go. Right. Poutine.
Okay,
Love that.
Now we're talking.
Have you guys tried poutine, by the way?
I went to
At Epcot.
Montreal.
Yeah.
I went to Montreal like 5-6 years ago, and I had poutine. It was incredible.
And?
I love it.
Oh, it was good. Who said terrible?
don't know. I've had it at Epcot and it was amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
but
good.
I don't know how authentic that is.
I was in Toronto a couple years ago. I got poutine and it was really good.
Yeah.
That was the one only time I've had it though.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's like I don't know. It looks gross. It looks terrible, right? Like it looks like just
Yeah.
kind of like the what you scrape off a Wendy's grill and you put it into like but it's great. So I would do ribs, poutine, stuffing, and then let's go.
Anybody else lost Oscar's audio here?
No, I still got Oscar.
I
No, I
lost
got it.
everyone's audio here. That's not
Oh.
good. There we go. You're back. So the last thing you said was poutine. I apologize.
Scaring me, man. Jeez. You know what? Let's call it a night with poutine, and then we'll have a Molson to top it off in my red solo.
There we go. Drew.
For me, I'm just to be different. I mean, you can't go wrong with a burger, but I'm feeling pulled pork, mac and cheese,
Okay.
and a fresh, perfectly ripe watermelon. It's the best cookout supplementary food. Nothing like watermelon on a hot day. And then I guess like a Yingling or maybe a Corona or something, a
Nice.
lightish beer. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get everyone's thoughts here because I've been seeing this a lot on the internet. I think it's blasphemous. Salt on watermelon.
Oh,
My dad does that, and he tried to get me into it several years ago. It's fine, but it's like it's unnecessary. It's not gross. It's just like why?
does it
You know?
exasperate the flavor at all? Does it bring anything out? Does it complement?
Makes it salty, in my opinion.
Ugh.
They're just salt lovers. I like my sister-in-law loves salt on everything. I saw her go as
Yeah.
far as putting salt on ice cream before.
Oh,
No.
dude.
Nope. Nope.
No.
Salt lovers are a
No.
different breed. They are.
All right.
That's like
last-
putting egg and avocado on a burger.
Okay.
boy.
dude.
Okay. Don't knock it till you try it. Last thing here, because now that we talked about ice cream, I didn't realize this was such a controversial subject. Mint chocolate chip ice cream, yes or no?
It's not my number one choice, but yes.
Mm.
I used to like it a lot.
Wow.
I don't know. I like, so there's two different kinds of mint ice cream. There's the green kind and the white kind.
Oh,
And
it's
I
gotta be
think those are
green.
different. Gotta be green. The
Gotta
white
be
kind
green.
I've had before. I don't know if it was just where I got it from. I did not like the white mint chocolate chip, but the
What's the
green mint
difference?
chocolate chip, especially like Publix brand, that stuff's good.
Yeah.
What's the difference between green and white?
I don't know.
I think
Honestly,
it's,
couldn't
well,
tell
there's
you.
different types of mint. Maybe it's like spearmint instead of peppermint. I don't know. It's different though. It does taste different.
Like Pepto Bismol, kind of.
Yeah, it's like Pepto Bismol
Right.
mixed into ice cream. So very
Exactly.
gross.
Okay, yeah.
I'd have that at the cookout, actually. The Pepto Bismol ice cream.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream's fine, but it's got to be like fifth or sixth on like the ice cream I would try, maybe lower.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Where I like if it's in front of me, if it's the only option, I'll take it. But I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I'm
fat, order
so
that.
I'll
over,
take
like,
it, but I'm not gonna like. I don't know. It's not
You're
a
beautiful,
primary
Luke.
pick.
You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. No, it's not my primary pick at all.
All right. While we're debating foods, pineapple on pizza. I'm for
100%.
pineapple on pizza.
100%.
I think
Yeah, I bet Oscar's not because he dissed it on a burger.
Keep it in your homes, but I would rather not have it in public. You know what I mean? You know.
What are you
but,
putting on your pizza?
Keep it to yourself. Oh, you know, in Canada, there's the Canadian classic, and you go
Ham?
bacon, ham, and mushrooms.
Oh, I'm not mad at that at all.
bacon, ham, and pineapple would be really good too. I'm just saying.
True. That's
I
true.
kind of hate on pineapple because it's a trend to look cool. See, deep down, it's okay. Deep down, it's okay, but it's no more than okay. I'll give it that.
Well, I appreciate you being man enough to admit that. That says a lot about you. But yeah,
We got
We've
nothing
gone-
to hide at the Magic Roundtable, brother.
yes,
It all comes out here.
Absolutely. Well, we've talked magic, we've talked food, we've talked everything in between. Just want to say thank you to Drew and Oscar for joining us again, a second time and a third time. We'll definitely have to do this again. Hopefully, a month and a half from now, we're sitting here. We've got our nice, shiny new draft pick, and the future is very, very optimistic, and we're all feeling great. If not, obviously, we'll come right back here and complain just like we always do.
Right.
But any last words, anybody here, before we go ahead and sign off?
Have I cracked the best friends list yet?
Absolutely.
Yes!
Best friend Oscar.
Best friend Oscar.
Best friend Oscar.
Let's go.
Best friend Oscar and best friend Drew roundtable. There's your episode.
Friend of the
Nice.
podcast. Yes.
Welcome to the club.
There we go.
Pleasure. Boys, I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys for listening. For Drew, for Oscar, for Luke. This has been Jonathan. You guys are listening to the Six Man Show, and we will catch you guys next time. See ya. Thanks for listening to the Six Man Show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher to get new episodes downloaded directly to your phone. Please take a minute to give us a 5-star rating and a review. It would really help us out a lot. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Six Man Show and like us on Facebook. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Magic.